Alright, today's May the 27th, I think it is. I'm going to try to get some stuff accomplished on the taxidermy shop today. We've been working. Family went out, they went out of town on a senior trip to Puerto Rico. So I kind of tinkered around in the shop a little bit in the afternoons and stuff, just to give me something to do while they were out of town. We got the lights pretty much where I want them. Looks good, it's bright in there. So today, while it's not raining, that's one thing, it's been freaking pouring down raining here almost every day. But my ditch has been slapped full of water. So we're gonna try to mess with this today and get this all accomplished. Just in case, I would think most people would know how to glue a piece of pipe together, but just in case if you don't, you got primer and you got your cement. I like using a medium duty cement and all. To me it bonds a lot better. If you're like me, you normally end up dumping half this mess out because you end up knocking it over. I'm gonna try leaving it in the box, set it over here to where I don't knock it over. What I gotta do is I gotta also connect it. I gotta go under our well pump, but the bladder and all is underneath the house with the pressure switch. So it's got a check valve there, so either, and it's got a check valve that's built into the pump. A lot of people put two check valves so that you, just as a safety precaution, keep it, if your check valve in your pump goes out, won't drain all the water back out of the line sometimes. So I gotta go, once I get all this hooked up, I gotta go take the check valve out from underneath the house. Don't know if I'll do that today or not, but first off, I'm gonna glue a 90 on. Your primer, prime both your ends. Set that there, let that dry. We're gonna prime our pipe coming out of the well pump house. Put your little glue on your one side you're fitting. So we got our 90 on there. When you take, put your glue and all on your fitting, some on your pipe, and then press it up on there and kind of rotate the pipe to help get the air bubbles out. You do that for all your other joints. So I'm going to continue this on, and I'll bring you back to show you what it looks like after it's all said and done. Alright, I got my first length of pipe. Now, if you go to your big box stores, stuff like that, you're only going to find PVC pipe in like 10-foot sections. If you go like around here, closest, we got one mom and pop little hardware store. They might will sell it in 20-foot sticks, but if you go somewhere like Southern Pipe here, we have one about 30 minutes away. I say it's 30 minutes. You might can find it at Marvin's, some places like that, I'm not sure, but you can buy it in 20-foot sticks. So a 10-foot stick, I'm just a little short from where I coming up. Now I'm going to take and cut this. I'm going to put in somewhere through here a hose barb fitting. That way I can hook up. Got something in my eyeball. Hook up. Be able to pressure wash my hides and stuff back here behind the shop. So you would think 1 inch. Running all this in 1 inch. A coupling, like if you measure this 90 in here to the lip, it's about 7/8 of an inch. Well, a coupling, where my coupling go? I just had one. If you measure the inside of the coupling to the lip, it's 1 inch. So what you can do, mark on your outside your coupling a 1 inch mark. Get it down there in your hole, line it up with your piece of pipe. Now I haven't glued this on. I just kind of got it pushed down in there so I can get me a measurement here. And I made a measurement from the other side an inch. So if I bring it all the way to that 90 right there, looking at about 4 1/4 inches long. 4 1/4. Couple of different ways you can cut it. You can get you a pair of these ratchet cutters. They'll last you forever. Or you can take a sawzall, cut it, or just a regular old hacksaw. So, well, don't need to run that through the dirt like I just did. Come up here, we'll make us a mark it 4 1/4. And I got a little bit of wiggle room here so I can, but sometimes you ain't got wiggle room, so you just line up your cutters. Make a mark, take and prime it, glue it, put it all together. you want to hold a little pressure on it for a few seconds, especially like on that 90. You can't turn it to help get the air bubbles out, but now I can take that back loose. Prime that side. Hope y'all seen that, because I had the camera underneath the building set up. So we got that glued together. You could always take your piece of cardboard, set it in the hole, try to get you where you don't get any dirt. These are some old road signs that I used to have. Set them down in there in the hole. Now one thing I am going to do, because you need to look up for your area, your frost line. Here in Alabama, we have some cold weathers, but not like maybe some people up north where your frost line, I think if you look up Alabama for our area, it's like a foot. This soil right through here was so rocky, had a bunch of rocks and that kind of stuff in it. And I don't mean no little bitty rocks, I mean like big rocks in it. So I think the other day, not sure what washed back in the hole, but about 16 to 18 inches. I really want to get down about 24. So what I did was, to try to help my pipe, went to Home Depot, got some of this foam insulation I'm going to put around it before I cover the hole back up, and try to see if I can maybe help insulate this pipe. And then coming up right here, from when I fill this back in from ground level up, put a piece right there. But I'm also going to make me a box or something and put some insulation in it, and just have just my little hose barb sticking out, and then I can put one of those little caps over it for during the winter time when I'm not using it, to help insulate that. So I'm going to finish gluing, put my little hose barb right here, and I might put me a shut off valve right here too. That way if I need to, I can shut the water off right here. But when I hook it up in the pump house, I might not, because that's just another joint, something else to possibly spring a leak at. So one thing you could do, if you got a real long run, you could use the black roll of the PVC piping. You can buy it in 100-foot lengths, 200-foot lengths, or you could go with a PEX. I prefer a type A PEX if you're going to use it, because if you get a kink in it, it'll go back to its original shape, versus type B will not. If you got long runs, you could do that so you don't have a bunch of joints to where you possibly could have a leak at down the road. So I'm going to get this tidied up, and then bring y'all back with me here in a few minutes. Alright, so where I'm going to put this 90 at, I got looking at it, kind of talking about earlier, never really taking the time. A lot of times when you're running something, you just cutting your pipe going. But I wanted to kind of see exactly how far, like your couplings was 1 inch, the 90s were 7/8 on this 1 inch. Now this coupling here, if you measure on the inside, it's 1 1/8 inch to your lip in there. Overall, it's 3 5/8. So if you take an 1 1/8 inch, that's 2 1/4 minus your 3 5/8. So it's 1 3/8 inches, pretty much in the center right there. So what you can do, because my pipe's already stubbed up inside, which it really doesn't matter in there because nothing's hooked up yet, but what you can do is you can take and lay out on your pipe. I don't know if you can see that, but like I wanted my coupling to end right here, so I measured down 1 1/4 inch, 1 1/4 from where the bottom is. So what I can do is I can take out that right there, and if I figured that right, that's roughly about 1 3/8 inches. So like I said, it ain't gotta be dead perfect because I don't have everything hooked up. So I was right there at 1 3/8 inches. So you can cut just that section out and get it exactly where you want it at. So that's just something to keep in mind. So I'm gonna glue this piece in real quick. Alright, we got a hose barb installed. You can find different hose barbs. I found this one with this little extension on it, so that, like I said, I can build my thing around it and be able to enclose this to keep it insulated. Now one thing is, I'm not no professional at this. I'm not a, don't do plumbing every day, but some of them out there that might watch this be like, oh, you should have done this, you should have done that. I'm a professional plumber. Well, there's 100,000 different ways to do anything, but I just do it the way I know how to do it. But one thing I did run into, I might have should have dropped that hose barb down a little bit, because when I went to go glue the top side of my 90, and you only have so long for this glue to start setting up, I had to run around, go on the inside. I got it down in there, but because of the way the floor is on this, I couldn't get my hand on it to push it down. So I had to run around on the inside, push down to get it good, get it seated in there good. So if you're doing this by yourself, just try to think ahead, which you can always cut it back out and put another one in, but that just costs you a little bit more money. So we're gonna go inside here, and I'm gonna probably put me a shut off in there. That way I can shut it off if I need to inside, if I one of the sinks or washing machine or something like that, I can shut it off inside there. Or like I said, I'm going to put one inside the pump house. But if I put one in there and I go ahead hook it up to the pump house without taking that check valve out underneath the house, it's not going to let this part of the line stay pressurized, unless, because the pressure switch is never going to see the pressure drop when I open the water line. So, but for right now, what I can do is I can call the wife, tell her, hey, cut the sink on in the house, or I can run over, cut one of the outside faucets on, let the well pump come on, pressurize this. I can take and open this hose bar fitting up, push all the air out till I get some water, let it pressurize, and I can check this and go ahead and cover this section up today. And like I said, before I do, I'll wrap this section in that insulation wrap. So let's go in here and get this shutoff installed. See what we'll run into on that. Alright, we're back in the shop. As you can see, I got some lights. My little old Amazon fan up there, helping circulate some air. So this is where we're coming up through from the bottom side. I'm thinking about, let me get this where y'all can see here. So, oh, knocked my tripod over. Well, thinking about if I put it right there in the wall, come right here, my washing machine would end up hitting it, but I'm gonna have to be back far enough anyway. So if I put it inside the wall, then I'm gonna have to make me a little access panel. So what I might do is, just to pressurize this, I could always get me a cap, glue a cap on, but I'll probably just end up just mounting this right up here just to be able to get me to where I can pressurize the system today. Because if I put this in here, I'm going to have to come up with access panel or something like that. Because my plug for my washing machine, I'm going to put this about right in there. So, but eventually I'm going to want to put a hot water heater in here. So this line is going to have to feed the hot water heater too. Which if I put a hot water heater, I'm probably going to put it up on top up there. That way it's out of the way. So just remember, if you're doing this primer's going to get all over stuff. You're going to have some paint fingernails, so get you a pair of latex gloves or something like that. But I'm going to get this glued on, cut the well pump off, and I'll bring you back when I'm in there to glue all that together.